welcome back to Scribble Your Saga. This is Heather. I wanted to get on here today and show you this huge stack of journals and talk about my current journaling setup. Now, I know this looks like a lot. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 journals that I'm currently using, but again, I don't write in these every day. Before we get started, I just wanted to say thank you for watching, and if you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button and that bell icon, geez, I can't talk, so that you'll be notified every time that I upload a new video. If you enjoy journaling videos, creative writing, creative journaling, this is the place for you. So without further ado, we're going to get started. I'm going to move this huge stack over to the side, and we're going to get going one by one. So the first journal is just this little blue notebook. I've had it for years. I got it at Michael's in their kind of like dollar bin section. So it was no more than I think $1.50. This is my newest journal. I just started using it in April. And it's part of my morning routine most mornings. It's my dream journal. So I'm not one of those people that dreams a lot at night, but every now and then I'll have this really like vivid or weird or random dream. So on the days that I have those, the next morning I get up and I just kind of do a little write-up of what it was to help me remember, because you know, sometimes weird dreams could be good inspiration for a story or a novel later on. So I figure, why not start documenting it? Plus that way it gets it off my mind, so I'm not thinking about it throughout the day, like, you know, why did I dream about that last night? This next little notebook, I got, years and years ago. I want to say while I was still in high school, and it's just been hanging around in one of my desk drawers. It's been through a lot with me. It's just a little Jane Austen inspired one. There's some Jane Austen, quotes and, quotes from some of her novels throughout it. This is my personal journal. This is where, you know, I write down what happens during the day, how I'm feeling, and things like that. Sometimes I'll include some ephemera or some washi tape, but overall I just tend to keep it very plain. So for personal reasons, I'm not going to show a lot of it, but I'm really proud that I've stuck with this journal. So this is one of the reasons why it's still here, is that it's not finished. I don't know if any of you are like me and you have all of these little notebooks and journals that you start for different things and then you never really finish them for whatever reason. You get bored or you get another cute notebook that you want to start writing in right away, so the notebook that you had been using just kind of gets brushed aside and left unfinished. One of my goals this year in 2020 was to get better at finishing notebooks. So if I look in the first date of this, I actually started this back in October of 2018. And then I put it aside, and then I've picked it back up. So I'm really excited that I've kept with it, and I'm now more than halfway through with it. So hopefully I'll be able to finish this up within another month or so, definitely by the summer, because I have a whole desk drawer that when I film a desk drawer tour someday, you'll see has other cute little notebooks in it. This gray notebook, it's pretty plain. I mean, I was thinking of printing out and cutting out a decal on my Cricut to put on the front. I just haven't gotten around to it. Again, this is relatively new. I started this a few months back. I want to say maybe in February. And this is my moon journal. So the front of it is just some research about the different phases of the moon and how they can affect our energies and what we should be doing at the different times. I have the moon cycle here, a little bit, you know, just their average day count, and then broken down a little bit more. Some moon phase prompts, so if you want to journal throughout the different phases of the moon, you can do that if you're stuck for what to write about. And then I skipped a couple pages in case I do any more research in the future. And then I have my moon phase journaling. I started the first month I did the different phases of the moon, but then I decided to switch and only write on new and full moons when I'm writing my manifestations and intentions for the month, and then on the full moon just to kind of do a check-in and see where I am and what I need to modify to help me meet my monthly manifestations or intentions. So that's this little guy here. Oh, before I forget, one of the reasons I picked it was because it has this nice little pocket in the back. And I printed this off. It's the moon phase calendar for this year. I forget which website I came from, but if I can find it, I will link it in the description box below. So that just gets tucked back to there. I have a couple little stickers as well in case I want to decorate, but overall, I don't really decorate this one. I like to use different color pens for different things. So in the moon journal, I've been kind of writing in purples and metallics. I have some metallic gel pens. This is a Pen and Gear Traveler's Notebook. I got this from Walmart at the beginning of the school year. And I'm using it as my budget journal. So I have some slips here that I take to the bank, and I can fill out how much of each denomination I want, and I put the total at the bottom, and I just hand that right to the teller. This is the monthly insert that came with the Traveler's Notebook. So this is where I do my bill tracking. I highlight the different paychecks in different colors, and then I color code the bills according to which paycheck they're going to be coming out of. So these two yellow ones are actually from March's last paycheck, and then the rest of these are from the two for April. So this system works out really well. I put a little circle, and then when the bill gets taken out of my account, I just put a little check mark in the box. The next notebook is my expense tracker, which I have to admit I'm not always the best at keeping up with as the month goes on. So here's my little highlighting code, and all I do is I take a 2-page spread. I'll show you one that's more full. So here was February. I didn't finish highlighting it, and I only got to the 16th. You see what I mean about falling off towards the end of the month. But come the 18th, most of my bills are paid for the month. So I highlight them, I write down the date, what it was it a bill, fun, food, and then how much it was. And then the third notebook in here is where I do my cash envelopes. So I'm not currently using cash in my cash envelopes. I'm doing the cashless method right now. Just because of the pandemic, I don't want cash, exchanging hands and going back and forth. So I'm still keeping track of everything. I have my cash envelope trackers where they normally are in my wallet, but I'm just using my debit card because I can sanitize my debit card much easier. So that's what I'm doing. So yeah, you can see I have my bills, the envelopes that I'm pulling out for how much, and then sinking funds. The back here, oh, I did this. I haven't started it yet. I have made a couple payments, but I haven't filled it in. My credit card free tracker. So this is much lower right now, but I just haven't updated it yet. So, oh, and these are some of the receipts for the month. So I keep the current month's receipts in here, go through, make sure that they're in my expense tracker for the most part, like I said. And then when a new month starts, I clean these out, put them in a folder, or discard them. My next notebook is also a Traveler's Notebook. I got this for $5 off of Etsy. Somebody was just randomly selling it in their shop, so it was a super steal. It's a Mommy Lee, I believe is what it's called. And so I just loved it. I loved the colors of it. I'm using this as my meal planner. So you can see this one here that I have opened. This was our first week under stay at home. So I'm a teacher, and you can see I kind of did some of it, but for the most part, it was just, my husband and I figuring out what this new normal was going to look like for us. So it kind of didn't pan out the way I wanted it to, and I haven't really been good about doing the meal planning, but I got to get better at it. This notebook here, I'm actually going to take out because it was before I got the monthly planner. I was doing it just kind of day by day, and I was trying to do calorie counting, but it just doesn't work for me. So this method works, so this one will come out, and I'll use this notebook for something else. This is just a little Dollar Tree notebook that I stuck in here. I was thinking of using it now that I'm at home and we are officially not going back to our classrooms this year, to kind of keep track of some workouts I've been doing at home. I've been doing a lot of YouTube videos and stuff like that, so I could keep track of the day and the video I'm doing, so that way I can kind of cycle through them so I'm not getting bored. So yeah, that's this notebook. We have two more. Sorry, my curtain's falling. Decided to get cloudy, so I'm sorry about the lighting. Next I have this notebook here, and again, it's one that I had on my shelf for years. And, you know, I think some of us that love notebooks, we're just always afraid to start them and what are we going to use them for. So I'm actually using this one this year for my reading logs. So I liked pulling out some quotes. And then here's my 2020 bookshelf, what I've read so far, and there's a couple more I have to fill in. And I'm going to start color coding. I've really only done realistic fiction right now because I'm a huge fantasy reader, and I'd been reading a lot of fantasy, but then the tropes and everything just started getting repetitive, so I wanted to take a break from fantasy, and I have a lot of realistic fiction books on my bookshelf that have just been sitting there, so I kind of want to go through while I'm home now to declutter and read some of the ones that I haven't. So that's what this has been for mostly. Over here is the 2020 releases. I've been really good so far because I've made myself a promise that I'm not going to buy any new books until I've read at least 5 or 6 from the shelf, from one of my bookshelves that I currently have. No ebook, no new physical, paperback or hardback, nothing. So this is what I do for my reading journal. Title, author, page number. I give it a star rating, what type of book it was, and then I just do a little reflection. What did I enjoy about the story? What did I not enjoy? And just kind of explaining the rating that I gave it. So you can kind of see what that is. When I first did it, I set it up to do pros and cons, but I just felt like that was too fragmented, and I just kind of wanted to do more of a reflection and kind of a stream of consciousness writing, just a short little paragraph about it. So this style I've been preferring much more. The final notebook is the biggest notebook in the collection, and that is actually a happy planner. And I got this at Walmart, I believe, on clearance. I love the metal rings. And this is my writing notebook. This is where I keep track of my writing projects. So I set this up originally in the fall for NaNoWriMo, but I also made it into a bullet journal style notebook where I can do different writing exercises as well. So 6-word stories, you know, I have some other types of reference pages to look at while I'm writing. Some quotes for the days I need inspiration, and as I find them, I can write them. I have my names spread where, you know, I hear a name or I find a name that I like for a character. I'll write it down and then I'll look up the meaning, because I always like to have the names symbolize something for the character in my stories. So this spread was essential to me, especially for NaNoWriMo. I found some great names for my characters. Have an astrology chart, again, for characters for their birthdays, so I have some, you know, descriptions of positives and negatives for their personality traits. Here was my NaNoWriMo tracker. I was super excited that I finished NaNoWriMo this year and won on the 24th. Here was just kind of a brain dump where as I was working on different parts or different characters came in, I just had to make some notes about stuff. This was my Preptober schedule. I printed out a lot of different, like, novel breakdowns and kind of beat sheets, and I tried using them to kind of figure out which one helped me in my outlining process during Preptober. And the one that worked best for me was, further back here, was this one here from jammygold.com. This one to me is my favorite. I made index cards for all of the different beats and parts of my story, and that's what helped me write my novel in 24 days. Well, at least my kind of zero draft, first draft. I did like this exercise too, and this was from The Lady Writer, and she has a video where she walks through this 8-block kind of synopsis outline type thing. So I did this too as a way of just kind of to experiment and see what kind of outlining would work for me. And while it's not bad, I just gravitated to this one more. So again, it's just some outlines. I later went through this again, transferred, put some stuff on index cards so I could kind of go through the index cards and make them into Scrivener files to help me while I was writing. Here's my research notes for some of the different creatures in my story. Here was my NaNoWriMo rewards that I did. You know, small rewards working up to my big $50,000 word one. Here is our personality profile sheet. I printed that out, again, for reference for character development. This page I probably don't even need now that I'm using this notebook, so my TBR list is now someplace else. And this is my edit notes for my NaNoWriMo novel. I finally got it printed out and bound, so I now have to start going through and editing it and making revisions. So I've already marked down some overall concerns that I had with it to start that I need to go back and try to figure out. The only other parts of this journal, again, are just some other happy planner pagers that I may use for random things, you know, a to-do list, more brain dumps for the future. I like the checklist. This was actually part of, you could see it says classroom. It was part of the Happy Planner teacher planner, but I may use this to, you know, kind of keep track of where I am in the different processes of projects. And then just, you know, some color pages to write on as things come to me and stuff, just to change it up so it's not always dot grid. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love my dot grid, but sometimes you want to write on lines or just change the color of the paper so it's not always white. So that's my current journaling setup. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you are staying happy and sane, or as sane as you can be, and healthy, and I will see you all next time. So goodbye.